The New Physics Project puts forward a bold, mechanical reinterpretation of one of cosmology's greatest mysteries, dark energy, and offers an alternative framework for understanding the accelerating expansion of the universe. Unlike mainstream physics, which often invokes abstract concepts like vacuum energy or the cosmological constant, this theory anchors its explanation in concrete physical processes that occur throughout the cosmos. At the heart of this theory lies the concept of mass defect, the difference between the mass of a system and the sum of its individual components. In conventional nuclear physics, this missing mass is understood to be converted into energy, as described by Einstein's famous equation, E equals mc squared. However, the New Physics Project introduces a novel interpretation. Instead of being fully transformed into electromagnetic or kinetic energy, the mass defect explosively gives rise to a new, ultrafine substance called ether. This ether is not just a hypothetical remnant of 19th century physics. It is reimagined here as a real, space-filling medium that is born out of high-energy astrophysical events. Processes such as nuclear fusion in stars, supernova explosions, quasar outbursts, and black hole mergers are all said to generate this ether. Once created, the ether immediately spreads out, diffusing into the surrounding regions of space. Over billions of years, this ongoing production of ether accumulates across the universe. As this space-filling ether increases in volume, it is proposed to exert a physical outward pressure, much like a gas expanding within a confined volume. This pressure, according to the New Physics Project, is the hidden engine behind the accelerating expansion of space. It's not an abstract energy field or a tweak to Einstein's equations. It's a continuous physical process with measurable consequences. This interpretation diverges sharply from standard cosmological models, which attribute cosmic acceleration to a mysterious, dark energy that permeates empty space and is responsible for pushing galaxies apart. In contrast, the New Physics Project attributes this acceleration to a real and dynamically evolving ether, whose origin is firmly rooted in energetic transformations already known to physics, just understood differently. As ether accumulates through countless mass defect events, the overall pressure it exerts builds up steadily. This pressure acts in all directions, expanding space and accelerating the separation between galaxies. The more mass defects occur, the more ether is generated, and the more ether there is, the greater the expansive force acting across the universe. This forms a feedback loop that naturally leads to accelerating expansion, without the need for speculative fields, fine-tuning, or hypothetical particles. Importantly, the ether in this theory is not static or uniform. It is constantly being created and redistributed, responding to energetic processes in stars and galaxies. This dynamic behavior gives ether a central role in the structure and evolution of the universe, making it a vital, testable component of the New Physics framework. In summary, the New Physics Project provides a compelling reimagining of dark energy as a byproduct of mass-to-ether conversion occurring throughout the universe. It offers a concrete, physically grounded explanation for why galaxies are receding from one another at an accelerating pace. Rather than invoking the metaphysical or unknown, it proposes a tangible mechanism based on ether pressure, derived from processes we already observe, but reinterpreted through a fundamentally different lens. If validated, this theory could herald a major paradigm shift in how we understand the fabric and fate of the cosmos. The New Physics Project presents a bold and mechanical reinterpretation of one of modern cosmology's deepest enigmas, dark energy, offering a radically different explanation for the accelerating expansion of the universe. In contrast to mainstream models that rely on abstract entities such as vacuum energy or the cosmological constant, this theory grounds its explanation in tangible physical processes occurring throughout the cosmos. Central to this framework is the concept of the mass defect, the difference between the mass of a bound system and the sum of its constituent parts. In standard nuclear physics, this missing mass is typically understood to be released as energy in accordance with Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared. However, the New Physics Project offers a transformative perspective. Rather than converting entirely into electromagnetic or kinetic energy, the mass defect explosively gives rise to a new, ultrafine medium known as ether. This ether is not to be confused with the outdated ether of 19th century physics. It is redefined here as a real physical substance generated during high-energy astrophysical events such as nuclear fusion, supernova, quasar eruptions, and black hole collisions. Once formed, this ether rapidly disperses and fills the surrounding space, becoming an ever-growing component of the universe's fabric. Over cosmic timescales, the cumulative effect of countless such events leads to the generation of vast quantities of ether. According to the New Physics Project, this space-filling ether exerts a form of physical pressure, much like gas molecules pressing outward in an expanding container. It is this pressure, continuously reinforced by the ongoing creation of ether, that acts as the driving force behind the observed acceleration of the universe's expansion. This stands in sharp contrast to conventional theories, which posit that dark energy is some unknown form of energy embedded within space-time itself. Instead, the New Physics Project contends that the accelerating expansion is a direct result of ether accumulation, a real, measurable phenomenon emerging from known energy transformations, albeit interpreted in a novel way. As more mass defects occur across the universe, more ether is produced. As ether density increases, so does the pressure it exerts, pushing galaxies apart at an ever-growing rate. This creates a self-reinforcing cycle. Energy-releasing events generate ether. Ether builds up pressure, and that pressure accelerates cosmic expansion. No need arises for speculative energy fields, exotic particles, or finely tuned constants. Crucially, ether in this model is not static or homogeneous. It is a dynamic and evolving substance, continuously produced and redistributed by astrophysical activity. This makes ether an active agent in the evolution of the cosmos, interacting with matter, influencing galactic movement, and possibly even affecting local physical phenomena. Its presence, origin, and distribution could potentially be tested through observation and experimentation. In summary, the New Physics Project replaces the mystery of dark energy with a concrete, physically grounded mechanism: ether pressure generated by mass-to-ether conversion during energetic cosmic events. This reinterpretation offers not only an intuitive understanding of why galaxies are accelerating away from one another, but also a testable framework that stays rooted in physical processes. If proven correct, this theory could represent a profound paradigm shift, one that reshapes our understanding of space, energy, and the ultimate destiny of the universe. The New Physics Project challenges one of the most deeply held assumptions in modern physics: that the speed of light in a vacuum is an absolute and immutable constant. Instead, it proposes a radically different view in which the speed of light varies depending on the density of a pervasive medium known as ether. This reinterpretation introduces a fundamentally new way of understanding the interaction between light and space, with significant implications for both theoretical physics and observational cosmology. In this framework, space is not truly empty. The New Physics Project contends that space is filled with an ultra-fine, invisible substance called ether. This ether is not primordial or static, but is continuously generated through mass defects, the apparent loss of mass that occurs during high-energy astrophysical processes such as nuclear fusion, supernova explosions, and black hole collisions. Rather than disappearing, the missing mass is converted into ether, which then disperses and fills space. Because ether acts as the medium through which light propagates, the speed of light is not a universal constant, but instead a function of ether density. This is analogous to how sound travels at different speeds through air, water, or metal, depending on the properties of the medium. In regions of space with higher ether density, such as those surrounding massive bodies like stars or black holes, light is predicted to slow down. The New Physics Project likens this to light slowing as it moves from air into water or glass due to increased optical density. This density-based model also provides an alternative explanation for gravitational lensing and starlight bending. While general relativity attributes these phenomena to the curvature of spacetime around massive objects, the New Physics Project views them instead as classical refraction effects. As light moves through regions with varying ether density, it bends much like a beam of light refracting through a lens. This interpretation retains the observable outcomes, bent starlight and distorted images of galaxies, but attributes them to physical changes in the medium, not geometric distortions of spacetime. The implications of this model are profound. It means that the speed of light is not globally fixed, but instead depends on the local ether environment. As such, different regions of the universe, especially those influenced by high-energy or high-mass processes, may exhibit measurable variations in light speed. This redefinition turns the speed of light into a contextual quantity, not a universal constant, and invites new types of experimental and observational tests. In direct contrast to mainstream physics, which holds the speed of light in a vacuum, denoted by the symbol c as a foundational constant of nature, the New Physics Project asserts that this vacuum speed is only valid in areas where the ether density is at a baseline level. In regions where the ether has accumulated or become denser due to nearby astrophysical events, light will deviate from this canonical speed. These deviations, if detected, could provide strong empirical support for the ether-based model. Moreover, the project does not treat ether as a relic of outdated science, but as a real dynamic and testable component of the cosmos. It plays a central role not just in light propagation, but in broader cosmological phenomena such as expansion and structure formation. The idea that space is a variable density medium, constantly shaped by the energetic activity of the universe, opens new avenues for explaining inconsistencies and anomalies in current models. In summary, the New Physics Project replaces the traditional concept of a true vacuum with a vision of space as a living, evolving ether field. It proposes that light travels through this field in a manner similar to waves in a fluid, with speed determined by local ether density. By doing so, it replaces the geometric explanations of general relativity with mechanical ones, offering a fundamentally different way to understand the cosmos. This ether-based, density-dependent view of light's behavior forms a cornerstone of the project's broader mission to rethink modern physics from the ground up.